I literally just said he's not. Hearthstone's way more nuanced. You guys are losers. Like losers. The Yu-Gi-Oh community is so up in their own that if you say anything negative towards the game, they're like, what? Did you just say that? No. Wait, he just shut the f up.
Apparently, there's a bunch of big React Andy drama going on in the Yu-Gi-Oh community. And that stems from this guy right here. Lil ol' Rarran. A couple days ago, he made a video called I Played Yu-Gi-Oh to Prove It's Ridiculous. And a bunch of people made a bunch of reaction videos. And one of them is someone I used to edit for. And it's Farfa. But instead of diving into this reaction, Rarran actually went live the other day. And he reacted to Farfa, which is pretty funny. So, why don't we react to Rarran reacting to Farfa reacting to Rarran? This is what Kazuki Takahashi would have wanted.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And there he goes.
10.
Yu-Gi-Oh text long. So therefore, card better. You see Farfa's take on Twitter. He thinks that the game being stupid hard to get into is a good thing. No, it's not. It's not that the game being hard. I think Farfa is trying to convey because the game has a bunch of complexities and is super duper like high speed, high power, all that shiz. I think that he thinks that because the game has those aspects, it can be appealing to certain types of players, and that people who are extremely dedicated will try and get into the game. And I think that's valid. But the problem is, like, 99% of people don't want to get into a game because, like, it's hard, or they want to flex, like, their rules lawyering knowledge. I'm not going to deny that, like, those people exist. Fucking look at dueling book judges. To say that a game being hard makes it more appealing for new players is just, like, inherently untrue. People like games with low skill floors and extremely high skill ceilings.
I want to make something very clear here. Do you know the amount of comments that I got that told me, Rarran, you should read your cards? I didn't put all the times I read cards from the actual live streams because I don't know if you guys knew this, but I'm trying to make an entertaining video for people who don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Do you think people who don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Want me to read the card every single time to show them in this video that I was reading
I
the
love
card?
reading.
No,
Bat.
of course I wouldn't show that. Imagine going to see a fucking movie and all they're doing is reading the cards.
Even if you, okay, one of the, like, the shitty things about, like, being a new Yu-Gi-Oh player and, like, just being told, like, oh, Omega will just read the card, is that reading the card doesn't automatically mean that you're going to, like, 100% understand it. I hope, like, people know that. This video is a good example of why people see our Yu-Gi-Oh community as extremely toxic and ignorant, sadly, based on how people are acting in chat. Like, yeah, like, here's Rarran's chat. I'm gonna move, like, the closed captions here for so that you guys can read it along too for the people at home. But, like, apparently there was just, like, a bunch of fucking Farfa viewers just being like, oh, well, you should know this, just read the card, Omega lol, El Bozo. It's just like the Yu-Gi-Oh community has such a sense of elitism, in the sense where a lot of people will look down on other people or think that they're better than other people because they understand this fuckwit of a card game better than other people, and other people are just like, I don't want to learn Yu-Gi-Oh, it's too complicated. And other people are just like, you can't even comprehend. I watch Rick and Morty.
So unaware. I was winning in solo mode, so...
Bro, he's fucking, like, imagine, dude, imagine any other game telling you, haha, he's going to casual, what a fucking idiot. Imagine any other game saying that out loud.
Imagine not immediately going into For Glory. Imagine after 5 minutes after picking up Melee, you didn't immediately download Slippy. Like, come on, man.
Can someone explain to me before we continue watching this video, why doesn't Yu-Gi-Oh have, like, keywords? Like, is it impossible to implement keywords into the...
The actual answer for Rarran is Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have keywords because when I think they did an interview with either Kazuki Takahashi or, like, the R&D team, Yu-Gi-Oh felt that if they added keywords, they would kind of fall into, like, the Magic the Gathering scenario where you would have to memorize a bunch of keywords, or you would have to, like, go through, like, a dictionary or the wiki and have to, like, look at every keyword every time something came up and be like, alright, what's trample, alright, what's lifelink, alright, what's bargain, alright, what's kicker, and that sort of deal. And Yu-Gi-Oh felt that if they included that within their game, it would just be, like, too complicated, and it would, like, scare off new players. Anyways, they ended up scaring off new players by having giant blocks of text.
He doesn't know, Chad.
Did I do anything good? No, bro.
Did I play Smile?
Good. You went -3 for 2 kitchens.
Yeah, that's like one of the things that's like super shitty. It's like you tell a player like, oh, you only ended on like 2 kitchen dragon mates to like a new player. They don't know what like your dragon maid end board should be. Like I generally think that if you look at a deck and like half the time you can't just like automatically infer like what a deck is trying to do based on like the cards in it. Like I'm sorry, but your card game sucks. Let's look let's look at fucking Magic the Gathering. Let's look at a deck. Like if I click burn, I see burn and I see, oh, this guy's an attacker. Oh, this guy's an attacker. Oh, this deals damage. And like after just like 10 seconds of reading, I can kind of infer and be like, all right, so this deck's general idea is to just like kill your opponent super fast. And it's so hard to comprehend the idea of what Yu-Gi-Oh end boards even are, because Yu-Gi-Oh end boards in the relative space of Yu-Gi-Oh, they only last for like 1 or 2 turns max because the game moves so fast. Whereas as in games like Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering, you have turn after turn after turn of like resource gameplay, or maybe you have just like one big like fuck off combo turn, like with Grinding Station or like Demon Hunter.
As a new player, there is no world in where you can learn how to play a combo or even a mid-range deck as a new player. Like,
don't you think that that's a fundamental issue with the game? I can understand if like there's an extremely high ceiling combo deck that exists within the format that you have to like watch a guide for. That makes sense. But if the vast majority of decks you have, even that's not just super autopilot stun or something like extremely linear, that you have to watch a fucking like 10-hour gameplay tutorial on how to complete the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 Rise of the Dead Easter egg. Don't you think that that's like a fundamental issue with like Yu-Gi-Oh in itself, man?
If Yu-Gi-Oh had a mulligan phase, it would be the worst game ever.
Yu-Gi-Oh should have a mulligan. Okay, chat, I stand by this. I think that in Yu-Gi-Oh, if you're going second, you should be allowed to draw your 6th card automatically, and you should be allowed to mulligan, like in Hearthstone. I could feel Rarran just losing the will to live. He just wants to quit Yu-Gi-Oh forever.
I didn't fucking say Hearthstone is a better game at all. I literally just said he's not. Hearthstone's way more nuanced. You guys are fucking losers. Like losers. The Yu-Gi-Oh community is so up in their own ass that if you say anything negative towards the game, they're like, what? Did you just say that? No fucking way, he just shut the fuck up.
By the way, I think I literally messaged Rarran about this. How do you feel about every Yu-Gi tuber being like a fucking giving their 2 cents on you? And he was like, yeah, I don't really care. And then this shit happened. Oh no, this shit happened. I think he started to care a little bit.
The fact that Mastodon came out on release and had the biggest burst of play, I think it was like #1 on Steam for like a solid week, right? That is so much exposure to the world, and it has like the fattest fall off in Yu-Gi-Oh! The fact that you queue into bronze in Mastodon on release and you play against Alpha discard Zeta is the biggest tragedy in the history of modern games. And I will stand by that. There is nothing more disastrous and more tragic in the launch of a game than the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh! Dropped with the best deck being Drytron.
Finally, a good Farfa opinion. That's like objectively true. Master Duel literally had the road set out for success. It was the yellow brick road was paved for Master Duel success. It was perfect. They could have had influential campaigns. They could have made it like super beginner friendly. They could have had like alternate format lobbies. They could have had like casual lobbies. They could have had like GOAT lobbies. Everything. But Master Duel just was released in such a dog shit state. Master Duel was released in a state where it should have been at least cooked in the oven for at least another 2 or 3 years, arguably. I think Master Duel is like right now is still not in a good place. Like if you released current Master Duel right now in like a year ago, it just still wouldn't be as good. They fucked up on like influencer campaigns. They fucked up on making the game like new player friendly. They fucked up on like social media. They fucked up on like everything. It was like a train wreck since like minute 1. Like yeah, Master Duel is like a cool game, like, but it's only cool if you're already a Yu-Gi-Oh player. And if you're not already a Yu-Gi-Oh player, sucks to suck, buddy. The tutorial should definitely say you can tribute level 7+ monsters, but no one actually does that. Like Yu-Gi-Oh will throw like 5,000 rules at you, and maybe only like 10 of them will be relevant. Like, are you telling me you're like tribute summoning in like 2023? Like in 99% of scenarios, like no, but like you just have to know that like you can tribute summon a Nibiru for games sometimes. Like the tutorial gives a very platonic idea of like what Yu-Gi-Oh should be. The fantasy of like, oh, we're playing a tight resource game of like, you know, monarchs and like it's like this Edison format back and forth versus like the reality of just like Kashtira fucking zone locking you or Tier Limit doing like an 80-step fusion combo. It's just so detached from reality. Like there is no perfect tutorial for Yu-Gi-Oh. I'm gonna say it. There just isn't one.
Yu-Gi-Oh players will cope so hard and pretend that Yu-Gi-Oh is not complicated. Yu-Gi-Oh is the most complicated card game, and it might be one of the most complicated like video games that isn't an RPG or something in general. It is genuinely so difficult and hard to grasp everything in Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
From every mechanic to every phase to every step, to every micro step, to the damage calculation, the summoning methods, the conditions, the activation requirements, lingering effects, etc. Like, there is a billion different things in Yu-Gi-Oh that is way too hard to grasp in such a short span of time. The only way you can even possibly comprehend Yu-Gi-Oh in its totality is to legitimately just play for multiple months, and even then you have to play like semi-regularly because like if you just don't play, you're going to forget a lot of things. I've done really well on judge exams, for example. I got, I think,
imagine playing Yu-Gi-Oh on paper. Imagine spending money on this game. Anyways,
it's like top
if you guys want to spend money on this game, please buy this hardware.
If I was to take the test today, I'd maybe get 30%. Because if you don't actively refresh your memory on a lot of the things of the mechanics in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can just, like, forget it, and you just lose it. Because it is such a in-depth, complicated game. And I will stand by that.
So I'm going to talk about that real fast. I don't think necessarily, I said it before we even started this video, complexity doesn't equal depth. Complexity means confusion, right? Complexity is what I would describe as Yu-Gi-Oh. I wouldn't call it like insanely like nuanced or anything based on what I saw, by the way, based on what I saw.
It's like taking a commander precon to a competitive locals and expecting to win on turn 2 when someone has like a full board of Eldrazi. Like obviously, like if you're like pack, you can take like 3 structure decks, you can like clean up a locals like no matter what. But as a beginning player, like people are like, oh, you just spend like $50 on the game or whatever, and then you could just get like a pretty good Salamangreat or like Trap Tricks deck. But you take that deck to locals, you're gonna get fucking smashed. You're gonna get like destroyed, and like destroying people from the fucking outright is how you kill people's motivations to learn the game, because you just feel like you're so far behind everyone, and like your only 2 options are to dedicate a fuck ton of time and money, which is most people don't want to do or don't have the time for, or like maybe like 1% of people are gonna be like, yes, I have to get good at this. Like that's what happened to me. Like I got smashed by my play group because I was playing a deck I literally bought off of Amazon. But like in 99 other timelines, like I would have just gotten my clock cleaned and I just would have been like, you know what? I don't think like Yu-Gi-Oh's for me. I don't think it's fun. And yeah, Gage about to react to the reaction. We need Gage to react to me, reacting to Rarran, reacting to Farfa, reacting to Rarran, then MBT reacts to Gage, reacting to me. We need the infinite react cycle. We need like 50 cameras. It needs to look like one of those like 10 people like reacting to like Cloud getting revealed in Smash or whatever.
Like not having a resource system in this game is the weirdest conundrum for like any player who hasn't played it, because every other card game has a mana system or some kind of resource system. Hey Rarran, how was your gameplay of Yu-Gi-Oh today? Oh, I don't know. I watched my opponent play for 10 minutes.
Yeah. This is what Kazuki Takahashi would have wanted.
That, right? Like,
you can't say anything.
Don't fucking play it then. Well, I mean, yes, that's the conclusion he came to. I don't know like why you're saying just don't fucking play that. Well, yeah, he's not going to play, and that's it. He's done this as an experiment. He's quitting. Right?
That's just the reality. Unfortunately, just like most people, like after being like exposed to the fucking Rika Sun Avalon like cock crusher therapy, like most people are just gonna quit. Like most people are not gonna be turned on by the fact that they're getting their fucking hand looped by like Labyrinth, or they're getting like their zones locked by character. Unfortunately, that's just the reality. Like Yu-Gi-Oh like fundamentally pushes away new players harder than any trading card game or even like card game in general ever could.
So this is the massive illusion that is given to you by games like Hearthstone and Magic. You could be an absolute dog, a complete animal, and you will still be able to like feel as though you play the game. It'll definitely be like the illusion of choice, but as a world champion versus a noob, in Magic and Hearthstone, you will get a couple of turns where you get to activate your cards and do stuff, right? And it's the illusion of freedom to an extent, right? Because that game was decided before you sat down. However...
What?
Bro, what? In what reality would a complete new player go against
chatting.
a pro player? Like, what? The freedom of illusion isn't real if both players are playing at the same skill level, which is gonna happen if someone's brand new to the game.
But the fact that you actually get to activate and play your cards provides you an illusion of, like, game.
Yes, chat. The illusion of choice is me drawing cards. Like, that's such a stupid fucking argument. What does that mean? Oh, my opponent opened better. So that means my opponent opened, like, slightly better. So in this exact timeline, my opponent is always going to win and I should just never fucking do anything. Like, what does that fucking mean? That's like in chess where it's just like, oh, my opponent picked white and white has like a 58% win rate across all skill ranks. So therefore, like, there's just no point in fucking playing. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fucking stupid. Like, what does that mean? Like, if he's trying to say, like, oh, Magic gives you the illusion of playing, or, like, Hearthstone gives you the illusion of playing because you're not technically dead on turn one. What does that mean? That's stupid.
He's saying sometimes you lose the game before it even starts. Dude, that is every fucking game ever made. So
yeah,
if that is the commonality between every game, it doesn't matter. He's saying that you're probably going to lose that game, but you actually get to play cards in your game. Dude. Oh my god, Yu-Gi-Oh! Dude, I can't handle Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. Honestly, I can't handle you guys.
I'm so sorry, Rarran. Rarran, please, if you ever want to talk about it, it's okay. We could play Hearthstone together, please. It's okay. I think Farfa is terribly saying the difference between Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh! You can at least have a turn or two, unlike Yu-Gi-Oh! Being hyper-fixated turn one. That's kind of true. But I mean, like, Farfa's just sort of making this argument out to be like, I don't even know. Like, my head hurts just even trying to, like, think about it or, like, rationalize this point. It's not an illusion of choice to play the game and to, like, have an interaction and, like, maybe have a slow turn 1s to 4. That's how a game works. Like, just ultimately, like, people deploy their shit. Like, people deploy their pieces or their cards or whatever. And just eventually, obviously, like, one player is gonna win because they, like, played better. Like, well, like, what else is there to say?
I played World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft actually does a pretty great job. Like, I don't play video games to min-max, right? I don't play video games to min-max. I play video games to have fun. Like, I play video games to enjoy myself, right? I'm not gonna go min-max Yu-Gi-Oh! Before you even have the chance to understand how the game is played.
Min-maxing is fun, though. Min-maxing is fun for some people. I personally treat some games as a min-max, but like certain other games, I just want to have fun. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game that forces you to min-max. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game where you cannot play that game for fun unless you're already playing a deck or like something that's already like min-maxed. Because like Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, if you're behind, you're gonna have like zero fun because you're just gonna watch your opponent like combo off or like just set like 10 trap cards and you have to like chew through those like all over again. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just not a great game for people who want to have casual fun. Like, that's just the reality. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. But it is 10 o'clock. That means the stream is over. I do have to go. I'm gonna go to Twitch.
But yeah.